Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. The world's attention has once again shifted toward one of the most strategically important waterways on Earth, a narrow corridor where the slightest spark can disrupt global markets, ignite international tensions, and reshape the balance of power in the Middle East. As Iranian forces move aggressively near a vital oil route, analysts are asking the same burning question. Why is the United States, traditionally the dominant military power in the region, choosing to step back and watch from afar? The story behind this unfolding situation is far more complex than simple restraint. It involves shifting alliances, strategic recalculations, hidden red lines, and the silent choreography of global powers maneuvering for influence. Today, we dive deep into the developments that the world cannot afford to ignore and explore the factors that explain why Washington is observing instead of intervening. For decades, the Strait of Hormuz has been the heart of global oil supply. A staggering percentage of the world's petroleum flows through its narrow waters. So narrow, in fact, that a single incident, a single miscalculation, or a single targeted strike can bring shipping to a standstill. The region has always been fragile, but what's happening now is different. Iran is not merely conducting routine patrols or symbolic military movements. It is repositioning assets, deploying advanced naval and missile units, and making moves that hint at a broader strategy, one that could test international tolerance and challenge U.S. policy in ways unseen in recent years. From fast attack boats to anti-ship missiles, from drone surveillance to covert maritime infiltration units, Iran has been building a hybrid capability designed to overwhelm or deter superior naval forces. The latest satellite images and intelligence leaks suggest large-scale coordination, not isolated exercises. Iranian Revolutionary Guard naval divisions have been repositioned closer to critical lanes. Missile launchers have been quietly moved into coastal firing positions. And small but effective drones have been operating with unusual frequency. These actions create not only a physical threat but a psychological one, reminding global powers that Iran retains the ability to turn a global economic artery into a choke point overnight. But what's more intriguing is the American response, or rather, the lack of an aggressive one. The U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet, traditionally quick to react to any Iranian escalation, has adopted a more cautious stance. Warships remain at a distance. Patrols are reduced. Intelligence operations continue, but the days of immediate confrontation appear to be on pause. The question is, why now? Why choose restraint at a moment when the stakes are so high? Part of the answer lies in Washington's changing priorities. After 2 decades of heavy military involvement in the Middle East, the United States has been shifting its focus toward great power competition with China and Russia. The Pentagon has repeatedly emphasized that the Indo-Pacific is the new strategic center of gravity, and diverting resources to the Middle East now would complicate long-term goals. The U.S. understands that Iran's moves are provocative, but they are also predictable. Tehran knows how far it can go before triggering a direct confrontation, and Washington knows that Iran benefits from appearing bold without inviting all-out war. Another factor in the American calculation is the complex web of alliances and tensions in the region. Gulf states, once fully dependent on U.S. security guarantees, are increasingly pursuing their own diplomatic paths. Saudi Arabia and Iran recently restored diplomatic ties through Chinese mediation, reducing immediate friction even as underlying competition persists. The United Arab Emirates has also taken a more independent approach, avoiding direct confrontation while strengthening economic ties where beneficial. The United States must navigate these shifting dynamics carefully. A heavy-handed military response could undermine fragile regional diplomacy and push Gulf partners closer to alternative power blocs, But Iran's motivations go far deeper than regional positioning or symbolic power projection. Its actions near the oil route are part of a broader strategy to counter international pressure. Sanctions have crippled parts of Iran's economy, but they have also pushed the country to become more self-reliant militarily and technologically. Every time Iran feels cornered, whether by sanctions, diplomatic isolation, or covert operations targeting its nuclear program, it responds by demonstrating its ability to threaten global stability. It's a message: if Iran suffers, the world will feel it too. This strategy is known as asymmetric deterrence. Iran knows it cannot defeat the United States or its allies in a conventional war. Instead, it focuses on creating leverage in non-traditional ways: swarming tactics, proxy forces, missile saturation, cyber operations, and deniable attacks. By creating uncertainty in vital regions like the Strait of Hormuz, Iran increases the cost of pressuring it. In essence, Tehran's message is simple: if the West pushes too hard, it risks triggering a global economic crisis. In recent years, Iran has also heavily invested in drones. These unmanned systems have proven effective in reconnaissance and targeted strikes, especially when launched from concealed coastal areas. Iranian drones have been spotted flying dangerously close to commercial tankers and surveillance aircraft. Such actions are risky but calculated. Iran uses drones as a middle ground between symbolic displays and overt conflict. They allow Tehran to test red lines, gather intelligence, and force foreign navies to stay alert. Meanwhile, Iran's missile program continues evolving. Coastal batteries now include longer-range anti-ship missiles, some capable of hitting moving targets with surprising accuracy. These missiles, hidden in mobile launchers along rugged coastlines, are difficult to neutralize. The mere possibility of a missile strike complicates naval planning and raises insurance costs for shipping companies. This is another form of leverage, an economic tool disguised as a military threat. The United States is well aware of these developments, yet it still chooses caution. One reason is that Washington understands Iran does not seek war. Its actions are provocative but not suicidal. The U.S. also knows that reacting aggressively could create a domino effect. A single skirmish could escalate into a broader confrontation, drawing in regional powers, destabilizing global oil supply, and forcing the U.S. into a conflict it has repeatedly said it wishes to avoid. America prefers to pressure Iran through diplomatic channels, economic measures, and coalition building rather than military escalation. Another dimension is global politics. With tensions rising in Europe and Asia, the U.S. cannot afford simultaneous crises. Russia's activities, China's expansion, and the changing global order require Washington to prioritize. Engaging in a prolonged conflict in the Middle East would weaken its global strategic position. Iran understands this and sees the current moment as an opportunity to assert influence while America's attention is divided. The situation becomes even more delicate when we consider the role of energy markets. Oil prices are extremely sensitive to instability. Even rumors of conflict near Hormuz can send prices soaring. Iran knows this and uses it as a tool. Washington must balance the need to protect global shipping with the risk of causing market shocks. Sometimes doing nothing, or appearing to do nothing, is a deliberate strategy to avoid triggering panic. However, watching from afar does not mean the U.S. is inactive. American intelligence assets are tracking Iranian activities 24/7. Satellites monitor troop movements, naval deployments, and missile positions. Reconnaissance aircraft fly thousands of miles each day, gathering signals and imagery. Cyber units quietly disrupt hostile networks and test defensive systems. The U.S. may not be sending aircraft carriers into the choke point, but it is very much present behind the scenes. There is also the factor of international perception. If the U.S. responds too aggressively, it risks appearing as the escalator. Iran often relies on portraying itself as the victim of foreign aggression. By avoiding immediate confrontation, Washington denies Tehran that narrative and forces the international community to focus on Iranian behavior instead of American intervention. So where does this leave the global community, and what does it mean for the future? The short answer: the situation is entering a dangerous phase. Iran feels confident, the U.S. is overstretched, regional alliances are evolving, and the world depends on the free flow of oil more than ever. One miscalculation, one drone malfunction, one missile misfire, one accidental collision at sea could push the region into crisis. Both sides are playing a high-stakes game, and the margin for error is razor thin. As the U.S. watches from a distance, Iran will continue to test boundaries. The question is how far Tehran is willing to go before it triggers a response. And equally important, how long Washington will tolerate these moves before deciding that silence is no longer a viable strategy. In the end, the unfolding events near this vital oil route are not just about military maneuvers. They are about power, leverage, perception, and strategy. They are about the future of U.S. engagement in the Middle East and Iran's determination to assert its role on the world stage. The world is watching, markets are watching, and despite America's distant posture, the stakes have never been higher. The story is far from over. This tense balance could hold for months, or it could collapse overnight. For now, the world is witnessing a strategic standoff unlike anything seen in years. A silent confrontation where every move is analyzed, every threat carries weight, and every decision has consequences far beyond the Middle East. And as Iran sharpens its posture near the world's energy lifeline, the United States continues to watch, calculate, and wait, knowing that the next move could determine the region's future for years to come. For now, the global community holds its breath as this dangerous dance continues, hoping that caution prevails, miscalculations are avoided, and stability, however fragile, can be preserved. But in a region where tension is never far from ignition, the world can only watch and brace for what may come next.